And stay tuned. We're going to have some great fun dance music in just a few minutes. But as I was saying, one of the great things about doing this show is 1 week I'll be in Chico, all around Butte County. The next week I'll be down in Auburn, in Placerville. The next week I'll be up in Truckee, Tahoe, working with the artists and the people up there. Some weeks I'm down in Sacramento, and now we've just added Calaveras and Amador County. So I look forward to being able to go out there and maybe sample a small tasting of wine. I'm not a big drinker, but maybe taste some of the wine and fruit of that area. But the best part is all the friends and the collaborations that we are building, and it's a reminder of what an incredibly blessed community and area that we live in. Don't you agree? I mean, where else can you get a hip-hop DJ, a native flute player, an angel playing music from India, incredible vocalists, musicians, healers, and another gentleman right here who I'm very honored to introduce, who has been deeply committed to healing, to consciousness, and to community with him and his partner, Daria. I'd like to introduce the co-publisher of the Lotus Guide magazine, Rahasya Poe.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Michael.
Oh, having you. You are a foundation stone, my brother. So thank you for being here.
Yep.
And tell us a little bit, maybe we go back a little bit, of how you ended up in this area and what led you to initiate the creation of the Lotus Guide.
Well, actually, we moved to Chico about 14 years ago, and my wife, Dara, wanted to put an ad in the local magazine for her massage sessions, and we just couldn't find an appropriate magazine. So we started the Lotus Guide, and here we are today. It just took off. It took root. It was an idea whose time had come, basically.
And how many copies a month do you publish?
It's every 3 months. 21,000. We started out with 10,012 pages. Now it's 44 pages.
All right, let me see the calluses.
They're
No
here.
calluses.
They're here.
You're doing something right. You're doing something right. And I know we're going to talk specifically about some things today. But doing the Lotus Guide, tell us a little bit about your process and where you are now with the publication.
Well, where we are now, it's like it's taken on a life of its own. Like when you do a creation, there comes a time, it's like a child. It grows and it evolves and matures. Now our magazine just got its driver's license, and it's like it's out in the community driving around. We're getting, like I'm starting a nonprofit radio station called Spiritual Activist, and we're already getting donations for that. And people are wanting to hear, even though there's a lot of things going on. We have a broken, corrupted government. We have a financial system that's more of a Ponzi scheme than anything else. But all of this stuff adds to this chaos. And at first glance, you might think, this is really bad. But let me tell you a little story that Bruce Lipton told me. Because we were talking about this, and I was saying, man, because we live in an unsustainable civilization right now. It cannot sustain itself. Something has to change. So he told me this story about a caterpillar becoming a butterfly. And just follow me on this for a second, and you'll see that this template overlays on our society perfectly. When a caterpillar does its caterpillar life and its caterpillar thing, something happens internally. And it doesn't know why, but it finds a place to hang upside down, and the chaos just goes crazy, because inside that chrysalis, everything starts breaking down, and the caterpillar tries its best to hold, every cell in that caterpillar's body tries to hold on to that pattern. And eventually, it can't do it, because nature has another plan for that caterpillar. And it breaks down and becomes like, if you'd break it open, it would just be goop. But what they've recently found out is within that chaos, there are imaginal cells. And this is a real biological term. These imaginal cells are starting to wake up now, because they're holding the pattern, the vision of what that caterpillar is to become. And it uses all of the caterpillar's cells, all of that old regime. It starts reorganizing it into a butterfly. And I started thinking about this, because this is what's happening. We're at the end of a caterpillar stage on our planet. And it has to collapse. It has to go away, because it's not sustainable. It's not fair. It's not anything.
Well, it's really interesting, too, not to interrupt you. I actually heard yesterday that there was the first official oil spill of the new Dakota Access Pipeline. Can you imagine that? It just happened within days of the new administration restarting the pipeline construction. So, again, whether it's environmental, financial, spiritual, whether some of us are having emotional hardships, that these things are all culminating right now as we speak.
Yeah, and it's coming to a close. But I think we have to get to the point of realizing that in this chrysalis, there's imaginal cells. But out here, we have planetary imaginal cells called visionaries, called prophets, called people looking into another future. And we're using, like my magazine that Dara and I do, we're using the old regime, a printing press and everything, to get information out there to recreate our civilization. And if we all just hold that vision, and at the same time, look at the old regime, look at the craziness, the Trumps and all this, because we have to understand what's going on, because the moment you understand a problem, you free yourself from it. If we don't look at it and understand, we will never be free from it. And too many people on this planet, for too long, have buried their heads in the TV and the entertainment.
Wait, excuse me? What were you saying again?
Yeah, see? This is my point right here.
I got to just Facebook. Hold on. Wait a minute. Look, I got a text coming in.
Oh, my God, you're right.
Look at that. It's my breakfast this morning. What do you think? Damn good-looking pair of eggs, huh? Right? I'm sorry. What were you saying again? Imaginal cells?
I don't even have to say anything more, you know? This is a good example here. Michael is
And we're using this, though. We're returning the paradigm, and we're using it to reach people, too. And also, I think it's very interesting what you're saying about imaginal cells, because really quantum physics is now taking off in a whole new direction, where people are actually realizing that your thoughts and your actions commingle with the universe and with this bioelectromagnetic spiritual energy field of creation, and they co-create each other. None of us are victims of our reality. At any time, we can change our thinking, our process. So this idea of imaginal cells, which is expressed in nature through caterpillars, is something that we can access every day through our own thoughts, through our own intentions, and our own consciousness and awareness. We just have to wake up from this trance of these patterns and the repetition that so many of us are in.
Yeah, and it's a good way to look at chaos as a positive aspect of everything is breaking down, and that's beautiful. Because if we would continue trying to fix this, we would be in serious trouble, because we have a financial system based upon commercialism. Commercialism is based upon products, and it has to infinitely grow, but it's based upon a finite resource. And we're running out of resources. And if this could all change, we could all still make money. You know, all you have to do is figure out something to do service-wise, servicing people and helping people.
I mean, if we run out of resources, how many of you saw the movie Soylent Green? Ugh. Well, of course, in Soylent Green, they ran out of resources, and what became the food? They freeze-dried people, and people started to...
Just don't eat on Tuesdays.
And why is that?
Well, that was Soylent Green Day.
Oh, okay, Soylent Green Day.
You know, real fast, like in the recent issue of Lotus Guide, there's an article in there by Joe Dispenza. And I think it's important to realize that through hundreds, I think over 1,000 research projects where he's actually hooked people up, we're starting to see that people's minds are gaining more and more and more control over our health. And what they've found out recently is, remember when we'd take a placebo, we thought, okay, you have to at least think it might be the real thing for it to work. You know? Well, what they found out, you can know that it's a placebo and it still works. This is the next step to envisioning total perfect health and not even having to take a placebo pill.
Well, speaking of placebo, can we get Dara up here, please? You don't have to say anything, but we want to have you up here because really you are the other half of this gentleman and the other half of Lotus Guide, and I know you do a lot with dance. So how about a nice round of applause for Dara? I'm going to, in respect of Mother and Mother's Day, I'm going to give Dara the mic and see if she has some words to share with all of you. And in just a moment, we have music with Valerie Hummingbird, and then we're all going to get up and move our bodies to music from the World Beatniks. So you guys having a good time? What do you think, Golden Road TV? It's your show. You might be on it next week. Who knows? Anything can happen. So here we go with Dara.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, and happy Mother's Day. I'm very happy to be here, and thank you for everything. You're doing a really good job. Happy birthday.
And Dara is bringing her son up here from Brazil this week. He's going to be living here with his new wife. So that's a good Mother's Day.
Yes.
What a gift. And actually, I have to say that I have my mom out here in the audience. Mom, raise your hand. I just moved my mom here. She's lived in Connecticut her whole life for 77 years, and she just moved to California and to Nevada County. So I want to welcome her, and it's a real gift to have her here on Mother's Day and on my birthday. And my other daughter just graduated from Champlain College in Vermont and has a job working with the band Fish. So I feel very grateful. And I know there's so much wisdom, and I know you have your own radio show and, of course, the Lotus Guide. There's copies of the Lotus Guide there by the door. But what words of wisdom can we leave our live audience with and our viewers with?
I think just keep it simple, do the very best you can in every minute. And like the 4 agreements, be impeccable with your word. If you say you're going to do something, do it. And be as truthful and responsible as possible. If we can do this, just keeping it simple, saying what we mean what we say, and do what we say we're going to do, and follow our integrity. You know, don't be sucked into greed or any of the negative base influences that this world seems to perpetuate on us. You know, be your own guide, be your own visionary, and because we know what to do. We know what the right thing to do. It's doing it that seems to be the problem. And that's one area where I have a little bit of problem with people. I know they know the right thing to do, but they don't have the will to do it. They would rather just sit back.
And it's also hard to go against the grain sometimes of what society or corporate America, what the media says is the right way, right?
Oh, yeah.
So let's do this. Rahasya, I love you and all that you do and your wife, and just amazing inspiration. And I know we were connected through a psychic, so I know that on an intuitive level that we have a deep connection, and we continue to put out this conscious content. So thank you so much.
Absolutely,
for being
Michael.
here. It was a long drive from Chico. And give a nice round of applause for Rahasya Poe, his wife, and the Lotus Guide magazine. I think it's time for some more music.
You misfits and troublemakers, all you free spirits and pioneers, all you visionaries and nonconformists. Everything the establishment has told you is wrong with you is